All right. All right, open session,
Well, I make a motion to go back into open session.
Second?
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, motion to hire Mr. Hom.
I'll make a motion to promote Jared Christensen to engineer and also to hire John Hammond as our firefighter paramedic.
I'll second that.
All in favor, aye.
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 Any opposition? Hired.
Congratulations, John.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations, John.
All right. Presentation of the Police Department operations, Mr. Barnes.
As you'll remember from Chief Bliven, I think he'd rather be here, but he's at home with his foot up right now. Hopefully next week he'll be back. I know he broke it somehow. Some time ago. Foot, ankle, the doctors, he kept saying it hurt, and they kept saying, it'll be okay, here's new orthotics, until they did imaging and they said, oh, we need to do surgery. So it's been on his schedule for quite some time. So he's recovering from that. All is well. And as you recall from him, we switched our monthly updates to quarterly. So you'll be seeing one of those at next month's meeting. As far as things going on in our department right now, we're in the middle of a hiring process. Although that process is to establish an eligibility list, hopefully getting us ahead of the curve. We have anticipated retirements coming early 2022. We currently have one outstanding candidate that is left over from our previous process. We're pretty excited that they're still standing by, waiting to work for us. But hopefully this will have us ahead of the curve when the time comes, because once we get an opening, it sometimes takes us close to a year before that individual is actually productive for us. Things to come, hopefully in the future, will be on the HR agenda for October to discuss our administrative captain position that we think will really assist our organization. And then lastly, I would tell this commission that it's been a rough couple weeks for our officers. We've dealt with a lot of significant cases, specifically death investigations, whether they be suicides or overdoses. And, how I'm really proud of our staff and how they've handled that, both in their professionalism and their ability to care for those families in those situations. We talk about hiring for character and training for skills, and the more I learned about those cases and how our staff handled it, like their character really showed, and to hear from those families that have reached out expressing how appreciative they are, it means we're doing something right, in my opinion. So I just wanted to share with you that we've had quite a bit of that lately, and that takes a lot of our resources, both emotionally and in their time. So staff's done a great job, and I'm sure they'll continue to do that. So with that being said, unless there's any questions, that's what I have for you today.
I just offer our appreciation from the commission for all that they're doing.
I'll let them know.
Yes, I mean, I agree. All right. Thank you, sir. Next up, Chief.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So activity report from August, we're showing a continuing escalation trend in call volume. A few moderate-sized events, nothing I would classify as a large-scale event in August to kind of fill you in on. But we have, obviously now we're kind of probably on the downward trend of it. We're discussing here into September and August. We had some rebound of the Delta variant, and so we were seeing some transports which we had not seen in the previous months of COVID positive patients. And of course that kind of just brings us back around. We've got all the policies, all of the equipment, everything's in place to properly handle that, but puts us into that unfortunate situation again. We are seeing a downward trend on that. I was doing some reading on it last night, and that's fortunate. That's what we're looking forward to. I did add on there, and I'm going to actually, once I'm done, I'm going to ask Jeremy to follow up on some of the stuff that Matt Barnes has had in recent weeks of some of the stuff we've had going on. But I'd added on the agenda a 6-month mark right now from when we signed the Marathon County hazmat agreement. And so if you recall that, our department entered an agreement with Marathon County to provide hazardous materials response at a B level. Of course, we're a state of Wisconsin Type 2 team. There's some old verbiage in the county language and some obviously newer language in the state contract. But that allowed us to do is to take over from the emergency management hazardous materials response team that they had in the county and do those responses. And in the 6 months since we signed that contract, we've actually done 4 large-scale events, which one we just did a few weeks ago, which is just out into the town of Stettin. We work very well with SAFER on that to mitigate a chlorine dioxide leak. Of course, this is a very dangerous and deadly chemical incident, and I will tell you that it's worked extremely well. So we do get a small amount of money from the county on that, but we're also able to recover our costs. And so one of the reasons I wanted to bring it up is when we discussed this, at that time, the Marathon County Hazmat team was going on 1 to 2 calls per year. Now in 6 months, we've done 4 large-scale events, all outside the city of Wausau, within Marathon County. And we're able to recover from those because we were known spillers. We're able to recover our staffing, backfill for that. So anybody that we call back in to cover the stations while the hazmat team's out, and all equipment that's burned or used, we're also able to recover from that. And we have this small amount of money, $20,000 a year, that comes to the city and through that contract. So that's worked extremely well, and we're continuing to look for more ways to work with the county and other partners in our community to have shared services. So.
Does the county come up with the money? Is that where you?
Yeah, yep, so the county, yep, they were personally funding state statute requires every county to have either have their own hazardous materials response team or contract with one to provide one at the level B level. Of course, we operate at a very much higher level than that. B level is for solids and liquids, doesn't deal with vapors, and obviously we're a Type 2 team, we're a chemical assessment team for the region, and so we have a lot more capabilities than the previous team that they had within the county. So they pay us $20,000 a year. We also get access to a grant that we work with Phil Rentmeester through the county on annually, so we get some equipment there, and it gives us access to that, and then other further grants that go with it. So the agreement's working extremely well for us. And we're excited to work with it. Phil's great to work with. Really enjoying that relationship with him. He's got a really great emergency management group over there. Actually, we're working on another side thing. I can talk about it maybe next month, but we've just signed a county floodplain plan, so which includes the city and some of the areas of the city that are flood prone. So it's going well. So Jeremy wanted to chat a little bit about some of the stuff that, obviously we work when we're out the door, we're out the door with the police department, work hands in hands with them every day. And so some of these incidents they've been dealing with in just recent times, not included in the August report, but we've had to deal with, and Jeremy wanted to comment on it.
Yeah, I don't want to repeat everything that Chief Barnes said, but it's been a pretty trying couple weeks, especially for 2 of the crews and a lot of new leadership in those positions. And I think it's worth mentioning, and I don't know that the chief's got caught up in all his emails since his vacation, but these guys stepped up and used resources in a couple of these calls where, to say the least, they went above and beyond to help out these families and these children that were in a bad situation, and made the right decisions, made the right calls, and worked really good hand in hand with the police department. And I don't know that the chief's gotten all the emails, but we've had emails going back and forth from their management to our management talking about what their officers and what our firefighters have said about each other and how they work so well as a team to get the best outcome possible for this family, which still isn't a great outcome, but they just went above and beyond and couldn't be more proud of our new leadership when it comes to lieutenants and battalion chiefs at the fire department. So just wanted to build on what Chief Barnes said and let you guys know that. So
Do the social services organizations also participate? I would assume
they're notified, yeah. During the night, there's not many resources available other than to help out the best we can. And, that was with some gift cards as well as hooking up the family with some hotel stays and so they don't have to worry about the cost. And then going back and working with the PD to clean up the scene a little bit so that they could come back and not be as traumatized, hopefully, coming back to their house to do whatever they have to do. So going above and beyond as the police and fire department to do what we can to make them more comfortable is.
Can you tell us what happened?
Tell you what, when we're done with the meeting, you feel free to ask me. I'll explain to you what happened.
All right, good.
Thanks.
So that's all I wanted to add.
Well, as a commission, we're proud of both organizations. I feel honored to be representing these people in the community. I'm honored.
I think a takeaway here, just to talk like 30,000-foot view, illustrate the difference and some of the hiring and the changing cultures within our organization and the partnership is 20 years ago, we'd go to a bad scene. Fire department would respond, police department would respond, and we would do what we were supposed to do, and then we'd leave. And there were victims and there were traumatized individuals and there were people left wondering, what do I do now? And we'd leave and go to the next call or go back to the station. And that just doesn't happen now. And it doesn't happen now, not because a chief tells our staff, you have to go do something different or you should care. This is staff driven, and frequently it's staff funded, where funds are created either with their own dollars or with dollars that go out and acquire or fundraise to be able to help try and put those pieces back together. So it's a different mindset and a different culture within our organizations. And, we've had lots of meetings on a management level, but we believe that's what this community expects. And that's what they want. And I think both organizations are just pleased to see we're able to provide that.
I think it would be appropriate, and of course, this is just going off the top of my head, is maybe at the next meeting, I'll agendize and have a member of our Wausau Firefighters Community Assistance Foundation come in and give a brief presentation on what they do and why they exist. And their organization is separate of the department leadership. They have their own leadership, and their whole goal is to serve this community, and they raise funds to do that. And it's point of contact in the field where they see the need, they can meet it. And it's very unique. You don't see it in the fire service. The PD's got a side that they go hand in hand to do it together. And I think it would be appropriate to have their leadership speak with you about what they do rather than me trying to represent them. So I'll agendize that next month.
That'll be good. I think, looking forward to that. All right. Any other discussion, anything else? If not, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next meeting, 25th October. Thank you, gentlemen.